Hello, everybody, and welcome to the world of Lonza. I am Andrew Lonza, and this is my channel. And I want to thank you for watching another video, another end of the month video. Today is July 30th, 2023, and we have one more day of July, and then it's August. And boy, it's been a good summer so far. So we probably have about 1.5 of summer weather, and then it's going to get a little bit chilly at night. Stay warm during the daytime, but at least I think our nighttime might get a little chilly. Second week of September usually, when it gets chilly at night in Bakersfield. Lived here my whole life, and that's the truth. All right. So today, in the world of cinema, I thought I'm going to celebrate some birthdays. We have some big people having a birthday today in the world of cinema. Of course, I don't know these people. These are celebrities. One's a famous actor. He used to be the governor of California. And one is from Britain, and he has a movie out called Oppenheimer that goes with Barbieheimer. He didn't direct Barbie, but he directed Oppenheimer. So that is, without further ado, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Arnold Schwarzenegger and Christopher Nolan. Happy birthday to you. So, yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger is 76 years old, and Christopher Nolan is 53. Happy birthday to you guys, and since today is the last day of summer, and that's a good summer, or not the last day of summer, last day of before football starts again summer, because football starts on August 3rd, NFL preseason Hall of Fame game. Looking forward to it. Sounds like a lot of fun. And I kind of think August is like a good transition. We still have lots of summer stuff. You have baseball, you got summer blockbusters, and then you have football spring training. It's still like 110, 120, so hot outside. But you just see that glimpse of hope of it becoming fall, like that glimpse of hope of fall coming around us. And August is like, people are starting to go back to school where I live, and I just celebrated those. Oh, I didn't celebrate. I'm having a glass of wine for those people. So Christopher Nolan and Schwarzenegger's birthdays today. Next month I have some actual family members celebrating. A whole bunch. It's going to be busy, and I'm working on a novel, and I'm doing some poetry. And let's see. In a short recap of my life, 3 weeks ago, I was in Arizona, and I saw the Paramore concert in Palm Springs, and that was lots of fun. And I had my 40th. So it's low-key summer for me. I hadn't done a video for a while, so I thought I will just talk a little bit about the birthday people, the birthday boys, the birthday gentlemen, and why they're important to the world of cinema, and that is Arnold Schwarzenegger and Christopher Nolan. So, if you grew up in the 80s, the 1980s, and maybe even a little bit of the 70s, and if you've been watching the Netflix documentary on Schwarzenegger's life, you'll find out that it's pretty interesting. Of course, he is from Austria, and he came over here as a young man, bodybuilder, and there's a fascinating story of Schwarzenegger. So what I'm going to do to celebrate him and Christopher Nolan is I'm going to go through some of his more popular films and ones that I recommend that you watch, just if you haven't seen any of his movies. Schwarzenegger obviously was the governor of California in the early 2000s before Jerry Brown. And that was a big deal. But action star of the 80s, pretty much action star of the 80s. I know a lot of you probably know who Arnold Schwarzenegger is, so without further ado, I'm going to call the chopper. Got to the chopper! Ah! No, just kidding. Alright, and then I'm going to do a rundown, a quick rundown of some of his more famous films, and then I'm going to do a rundown of Christopher Nolan's movies that I think are essential and why you should check them out. So, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, the first one that I don't have a digital copy of will be Conan the Barbarian series. Conan Barbarian, the Barbarian from 1982 and 1984. Um, he made those right before he did Terminator. It's from Universal. If you like a fantasy film before Lord of the Rings, before Game of Thrones, um, before I guess you could say Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, The Witcher, Vikings, if you like Viking stuff, ancient Greek mythology kind of stuff, you might want to check out Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer. They're on Netflix. The first one is also has Darth Vader in it. It's pretty good. Check it out. I'm just going to go through these really fastly because a lot of you guys have probably seen them or heard about them. The Terminator franchise. Terminator. The first one came out in 1984, which is next year. It's kind of a cool deal because it's about you know a nuclear war in the future, and Sarah Connor is in it, and it's him chasing down Sarah Connor's son and trying to distort the reality of the future and make sure war and destruction is in contact. Terminator is directed by James Cameron. He did Aliens, True Lies, Terminator 2, and of course Titanic, and Avatar 1 and 2. So, and one other cool thing about 1984, it came out in 1984. George Orwell's book is called 1984, and it has a lot of Big Brother kind of spooky things about it. So if you watch, and next year is like a 40th anniversary of the Terminator, and it's going to be a wild year. So, we all went through COVID. Some people thought COVID was kind of a apocalyptic Terminator stuff, and I don't know, maybe not to that extreme, but apocalypse has been future nuclear war. Nukes! Speaking of nukes, Oppenheimer. Connections. Alright, so you all probably seen the Terminator on TV 1,000 times. So this is the Terminator collection, 1984. The next big movie, and he did a lot of movies, so the next movie action film of Arnold Schwarzenegger that I would recommend is Predator 1. Came out in 1987, filmed in Mexico around, I went to the location. It's hard to find, but it's doable. It's on a cruise ship. I couldn't think of it. Let me look it up real quick. Around Ensenada is where they filmed Predator. Predator 1 is also starring Jesse Ventura, and from the director of Iron Man 3, can't think of his name right now, but the director of Iron Man 3 is in it. Oh, and Rocky Balboa's nemesis, Carl Weathers, and Carl Weathers is in it, and he's famous from The Mandalorian and the Rocky films, and it takes place in the jungle. And if you like jungle movies, kind of like a little bit of a, let's see, if you like Vietnam type films and lots of action, and of course lots of from the director of Die Hard, you might want to check out Predator. Okay, and then I don't have it, but Arnold Schwarzenegger did Twins. That's the only Arnold Schwarzenegger movie I haven't seen. I haven't seen Twins, so I don't know too much about it. It's crazy. One movie I haven't seen that he did was Twins. Okay. Let's see. Uh, so that's 88. He did Running Man, 87. Twins, 88. I'm just going through a few of them. I'm not doing this all cinematography. But, oh, another big one is that's cool from Arnold Schwarzenegger, Total Recall, the original Total Recall. I used to have the Blu-ray disc, but it's based on a Philip K. novel from the same person who brought us Blade Runner and etc. etc. Is a great science fiction story from the director of Showgirls, nonetheless, and Starship Troopers, is Total Recall. Total 80s film. They remade it recently, 1990. Check it out because he made that right before Terminator 2. Of course, another funny film that he did was Kindergarten Cop. Kindergarten Cop, and that's 1990, and that is a good summer. I don't know, kid. He plays like a. I haven't only seen it once, so I can't talk to you too much about Kindergarten Cop. But the most important, most intense, most thrilling special effects, most essential that most 95% of you guys have seen. If you were an Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, 1991's Terminator 2. 1991's Terminator 2. Comes in here. It's on Netflix right now. I think it used to be on some other streaming services. I mean, it was one of the biggest hits of all kind. Film. Both Terminators were filmed in LA. So if you want to get your LA on, you can. The filming location was everywhere. There was a stunt show at Universal Studios for a long time. Stan Winston, computer graphics. A big thing about Terminator 2 is, I believe not Lucasfilm, but IBM, the sound. It was just great. It's a great action film. Came out in the summer. Guns N' Roses does the soundtrack. Another James Cameron film. I mean, great soundtrack. You like it. You'll like it. So that's Schwarzenegger. Another Schwarzenegger movie. A fun one would be The Last Action Hero, but it's probably one of his worst, or considered one of his worst. And then he did to bounce back on another great film that is streaming, I think, on Netflix, but I don't have it on my collection, and I need to get it. This has been a circulation. It's True Lies. Jamie Lee Curtis, she's sexy in it. True Lies, James Cameron, Airplanes. Check it out. It also has Bill Paxton in it. Bill Paxton's in a lot. He's in Terminator, and he's in a lot of James Cameron movies. That's a little bit off topic, but check that one out. And then Junior came out after that. A handful of other films. Jingle All the Way, Christmas favorite, 1987, starring Anakin Skywalker, Jake Lloyd, yeah. Before he did Star Wars Episode 1, he was a little kid in Jingle All the Way. And then, of course, if you're a Batman film, everybody talks about the Christian Bale Batmans. Everybody talks about the Tim Burton Batmans with Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton, and of course Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson, the Twilight Boy, dark, mysterious Batmans. But the George Clooney Batman, the Batman and Robin. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Mr. Freeze in it. Mr. Freeze. That's from 1997, I believe. And then he did a really dark movie, End of Days. Devilish, weird, End of Days. And then he did some other action movie I can't think of the top of my head. And then he did Terminator 3, which is in this collection, Terminator 3 from 2003. Terminator 3, 2003. It comes, is a, what? Dang, that's a 30-year anniversary. No, that's a 10-year anniversary. I'm getting my math wrong. 10-year anniversary already of, no, 20-year anniversary. 20-year anniversary of Terminator 3. So Terminator 3, I think he was in all the Terminator movies except for Terminator Salvation with Christian Bale, because he did the one with Emilia Clarke. He was governor for a bit. Then he came back to movies. The latest movie that he did was Terminator Dark Fate, which was okay. Some people thought it was a little woke. Whatever. Who cares? I don't even believe in woke. Woke doesn't even exist. All right. So that's Arnold Schwarzenegger's birthday. He's on a new show called Fuba, and his famous line is, "Get to the chopper! Get to the chopper now!" That's his famous line. All right. So, the next birthday for the end of July, and I don't do all birthdays, but I figure these people have such impact on cinema, and if they're born on the same day, I figured, hey, why not celebrate? All right. So now we're going from 80s and 90s, and I guess a little bit of 2000s action star to Christopher Nolan, and he's British. And the only connection for Christopher Nolan and Arnold Schwarzenegger is probably that they both were involved in the Batman film. Of course, Christopher Nolan did a movie in 1988 called Fallen, I think. 1998, and in 1999, his probably most independent film, which got him on the bar, is 1999 or 2000, called Monetto, where Guy Pearce, he writes all these tattoos everywhere, and he has to remember stuff, and he can't remember stuff. See it, check it out. It's totally a good artistic Christopher Nolan movie. I think that one and Falling are the only two films on Criteria. Another Christopher Nolan film that before Batman begins is in 2002. So I have to cover this like this because this is called Insomnia with Robert Williams and Al Pacino. Check it out. It has opening credits and it's good. All right. The main and central film right after Insomnia, of course, was his movie that I learned from Christopher Nolan. I knew he was a good director. I saw his the first time I seen him, heard about him, really was in Croatia, 2005. Me and my family went and saw Batman Begins because we heard a lot of buzz about it, and it was one of the most artistic storytelling depth. Kind of, he took a little bit of the film noir. You can see the film noir from the 40s that I like to talk about, and he did his Dark Knight trilogy. Okay, Dark Knight trilogy. All right, yep, there it is, and that is the Batman Begins. After Batman Begins, this is the one film that I don't have it. Some people think it's the best film, and it's a historical piece, also starring Christian Bale, and I believe this came out in 2006. I'm not correct. So he did Batman Begins, and then he did a film called The Prestige with Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale, also about magic stuff. It's the one movie I don't think I owned of his, or maybe I had it at one time and I loaned it and I gave it away. But that's floating around streaming services, or I'm sure you can find it on Amazon Prime. Look it up. It might cost some money, but it's worth your money. Special insight information. I took a films class, history class at Taft College, where I got an A plus. I think. Yeah, I got A. Yeah, I got A or B. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was A. The teacher, the professor, we watched The Prestige and we analyzed it. It was good. So the kids get to see it. We saw it on TV on our little flat screen or DVD version, but we watched it, and that's a rated R film. Watch it, but it's college. Who cares? Um, then after the Prestige, R.I.P. Heath Ledger. We love him. 2008, Heath, um, Christopher Nolan directs The Dark Knight, which some people consider one of the best sequels ever made. I was talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger earlier. Some people think Terminator 2 is the best sequel ever made to Terminator 1. Better than the original. Better than the original. Better than the original. And that's Dark Knight. Uh, some people think this is a masterpiece of a film. I kind of agree. It's almost flawless. It has Kristen Bale, Michael Caine, Heath Ledger, Gary Oldman, Aaron Eckhart, Megan Gyllenhaal, Morgan Freeman, and it is written. Oh, by the way, a fun fact about Christopher Nolan. Now, some of you guys might not know. He has a wife named Emma Thompson. She produces all of his, most of his movie, Emma Thompson. And another cool thing about Christopher Nolan that some of you guys don't know. Now I'm just giving you some Christopher Nolan trivia. He likes to shoot on film, and he also does not only likes to use practical effects. So if you see something blown up, for the most part, there's some CGI in some of his films. For the most part, there's little to no CGI, and that is amazing. And he's very time. He doesn't go over budget. He doesn't have. I don't think he allows cell phones on set. However, I think he ends the day. He doesn't work overtime. So just from Red, it's very time very carefully thought out, scheduled. Very good on his part for not staying all day, whatever, or all night. So after The Dark Knight, which was one of the first, which won Best Actor for Heath Ledger after he died for Academy Award. After The Dark Knight, we are getting into some really good films, and this is 2010 now. So in Leonardo DiCaprio, we are getting into Inception. This is fantastic science fiction movie. One of those movies where you have to ask. One thing that I think that's so good about Christopher Nolan movies, especially his science fiction movies, I think you need to watch it more than once just to get what's going on. Now, hey, there's a lot of smart people out there, but I like to watch movies more than once just to have different point of views of how to view the film. I remember working at the East Hills Mall, and now this movie wasn't like the biggest blockbuster of all time. I think it did pretty good. It did get nominated for Best Picture and Best Director. I think it didn't win that year, but Christopher Nolan, Leonardo DiCaprio, Ken Wannabe, Marlon Cottrell, Elliot Page, Sharon Murphy, Tom B. I don't even know his name. And Michael Caine. Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer does all good movies. Now okay. That was Inception. Let me take a drink. That was Inception. Christopher Nolan is. I always said he did. He did the Dark Knight trilogy with Christian Bale. He also produced some of Zack Snyder's universe. So I'm going to quickly talk about some movies he produced. Some movies that he produced. Not directed, but produced. Man of Steel, he produced this one. He didn't direct it. No. He did not direct it. So don't think this is Zack Snyder's movie. He produced Batman vs. Superman. Did not direct it. And he produced Justice League, and of course, the special edition of Justice League. So those are produced. All right. Then I just saw this movie today, and one of the best. Might be just as good or better than Inception. Is a movie called, man, it's about space. It's about Earth losing its food. It's about man trying to find a new life outside of Earth. Earth is dying. Our fears. How does the human race continue? Should the human race continue? Lots of questions. Lots of science fiction. It came out in 2014, and it came out at a time where, you know, his movies are so good. You make you think with the music, and they're emotional. I mean, I wasn't doing my best mentally, and I was a little bit depressed during 2014. But a movie that helped me get back on my feet. I mean, of course, with I had friends, support, and all that stuff, and family. But a movie that got me back on my feet. Cinema. That's why it is one of my faves up there. Was Interstellar. I mean, at the heart, it's about a man trying to find reconnect with a father trying to reconnect with his daughter, and it is 3 hours long. Brilliant score, brilliant movie. The music is fantastic. The is I think is a best picture nomination too, and it did win a few awards, and I don't remember all of them. Award-winning film right here. One Paramount and Warner Brothers. Beat that. He did two. Yeah, had two studios to get to it. All right, so moving right along. So that's Interstellar. I think that's on Paramount Plus, but I'm not sure. All right, three more to go. Dunkirk. If you like World War one of his shorter films. Chris, Tom Hardy's in it. Challen Murphy. Harry Styles. Harry Styles is in this film. Of course, Dunkirk was a very important battle in World War Two. World War Two. Very good, very good. Dunkirk, 2017, I believe, and it is the cinematography in this movie is outstanding. It is just brilliant. Okay, this is brilliant. Quentin Tarantino thought this was one of the best movies ever made. So if Quentin Tarantino thinks that movie was one of the best movies ever made, there you go. All right, two more to go because one's out in theaters actually. Christopher Nolan movie. Christopher Nolan movie came out in 2020, so not too many people did it. Remember, during 2020, there's some limited release films. Some people consider this maybe one of his more weaker films because it wasn't has impact. It was good. I mean, there's no bad movie. Every movie is pretty good. 4 stars. 4 stars. 4 stars. It says epic and intriguous, groundbreaking, a delirious ride. Fun fact, before Robert Pattinson became the Batman, in the Batman, speaking of Batman, oh, I forgot to do Dark Knight Rises. Oh, well, he did Dark Knight trilogy. Well, the Dark Knight, I don't want to go backwards. But Tenet, lots of cool ocean scenes, lots of cool spy scenes. It's just a film that it has from the director of the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, and Dunkirk, John David Washington, and this is Denzel Washington's son, if I'm not mistaken, and it is an excellent film. And of course, one of the best movies of the year, this year, in 2023, go see it. It's Oppenheimer. 3 hours long. Challen Murphy's best performance. He should be nominated for an Academy Award. I am telling you, Christopher Nolan might be nominated with Greta and Christopher Nolan should both get Oscar Best Directing um, nominations for this year's for Barbieheimer. Um, fun, I mean not fun, dark horror, not educational, but brilliant filmmaking. You will enjoy it, but it is Christopher Nolan's one of his more darker films. It is extremely. It has black and white scenes with color scenes. It's based on American Prometheus, and I really want to read that book. Um, the filming, I think they really did blow up half a bomb or some type of bomb. They didn't really shoot up a nuclear bomb, but Christopher Nolan promises you, and this is a hint, that he didn't use any CGI in his movie. No CGI. Zero CGI. So if you believe it or not, that's up to you. But that's the behind the scenes fact. His first movie that was distributed by Universal Studios. Dun, 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 dun. So Universal Studios, because he had a little drama at the end, like a long divorce or a divorce with Warner Brothers, and he's with Universal Studios now. So they're behind his films. That's his first movie with Universal, and that's that. So, like I said, that was a long video. I hope you enjoyed my video. Happy birthday to Arnold Schwarzenegger and Christopher Nolan. And I'm hoping you guys are enjoying my fun contact. This is the last video that I'm going to make of July, and I'll try to make at least 2 or 3 in August. I say that, but I'm probably most likely going to do just 2 because I get busy with stuff. I might do some poetry videos. Who knows? It's the world of Color and Lonza. You have to watch it to find out. So without further ado, I'll see you guys in August, y'all. And you guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.